Hey guys, it's Randy Pomfrey with Cummings Company Realtors, and today I'm going to ask the age-old question. It's not really age-old, it's actually very modern and common. Should I buy now or should I buy later? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through a typical scenario with you and give you the numbers so you can follow along. You can chat GPT this, Claude, your favorite AI, check all the things and everything. I've got it run right before me, so you may see me come in on the computer a little bit because I don't have all these numbers memorized, but I'm going to show them to you right now. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with an average $400,000 home. And I am going to get a different marker than this one because that one does not look like it's going to do what we need to do. So all of these examples are going to be for a $400,000 home. Your example, if you run it on a different number price home, is going to be the same as far as the results are concerned. Your price points are just going to be higher or lower. Okay, so if we buy a home today, that's going to be scenario number one. Buy today. Okay, current interest rate, right around 6.5%. So, you could get higher, you could get lower. It depends if you're doing FHA conventional. We could stretch this board out to be like a mile long and show you every possible example. What if you put 5% down? What if you put 10% down? The important thing is I'm going to use the same set of data for every house. I'm going to use the same house, same scenarios, same interest rates, all that fun stuff. All right, so your monthly PMI is going to be added into this. What we're going to do is we're going to have our person put 5% down. In every scenario, they're going to put 5% down. Because let's be honest, you're not rich, you're not made of money. Let's just put 5% down. So for a $400,000 house, that would be 20 grand. That still can be a stretch. For some of you guys, you may be like, hey, I've got $100,000 saved up. Well, then your numbers are going to be significantly better. But if you run the scenario through all the way through, it's going to end up being the same. So here we go. We're going to jump into it. At 6.5% right now, your principal, your interest, your taxes, your insurance, and your PMI, that's a different video with everything included. I'm not talking about a Zillow Zestimate or any other BS stuff where they don't give you the full price. I'm talking about the full payment. Right now, your full payment for a $400,000 house with 5% down, okay? So you're financing $380 over 30 years. And use this same kind of scenario for everything. Your payment is going to be $3,018.53. $3,018. Put a little comma there. That way you can see it. $3,018.53. So if you buy today, that's going to be your payment. And you may be asking yourself or telling yourself, hey, that's too much. I mean, if you're looking at a $400,000 house, that's what the payment is. You want the payment to go down, put more money down. You can buy the rate down. Those are other videos that we'll cover as well. A great video that I'm going to be doing is how to get the seller to help buy your rate down. That's a great one. But those all pale in comparison to this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to jump into these two scenarios are going to go together. So what you're going to do is you're going to buy now and then you're going to refinance in 2 years. And we're going to make some assumptions here, but we're going to make it all the way through the same. So now you refinance in 2 years. So in 2 years, you refinance. What we're going to do is we're going to assume, because buy later, the only reason you would buy later is if you think the interest rates are coming down. If you think the interest rates are going up, there'd be no reason to buy later whatsoever. So we're going to assume, and we're making a huge assumption here, but it's based on some economics and stuff. If we refinance from now, the rates are going to be 1% lower. And I'm sorry, I think that's actually going to be fairly accurate. I don't think we're going to see 2.5%, 3%. If you've got a 2.5 or a 3% or something like that, those days are gone. And quite frankly, that's a different topic again, but We don't want to see those rates again, because the last time we saw those rates, we thought the world was coming to an end. So let's stick with more realistic rates, more rates that are average for our times. So we refinance in 2 years. In 2 years' time, we already put down 20%. We already put down, not 20%, we put down 5% already. Okay. And by then we've probably paid down about $10,000 in the loan. So when we refinance, we're refinancing now still a $400,000 home. Okay. But it's gained in equity, and we probably owe $370 at this point. So when I ran these numbers, I ran this as if we were refinancing at that rate. Okay. So adding everything in, again, let me just emphasize this. We are looking at principal, which that's not how you spell principal, is it? PR. Let's try with that. Principal, interest, taxes, insurance. This is your PITI. And then you're either going to have PMI or MI, kind of the same animal, different name. That's the amount of insurance that you pay for when you don't put 20% down. That'll eventually go away, but we're going to hold it tight for right now. So when you refinance this house at this point, what's going to happen is your payment is going to now drop. Everything else being the same, your payment is now going to drop to $2,700.80. We're going to be exact here. So your payment just dropped a little over $300 a month, 10% actually. Just realize that, just by refinancing your house. Here's the kicker. Here is the thing that we just cannot ignore. We can't like sweep it under the rug or anything like that. This $440,000 home is now worth, if prices keep going up at a 5% tick, this $400,000 home is now worth approximately $440,000. If we subtract out how much you owe, $370,000, you now have equity, your money, in the amount of $70,000. Now, $20,000 of that was your money that you put in the beginning, and $10,000 of it is what you gained through payments. But the other $40,000 of it, that's just because you owned a home. That's the equity you get just because you had the foresight to own. I always tell people all the time, like, it's just better to own a home than not own a home. When should I buy? Well, you should have bought yesterday. It's always better to own than not own, because this equity is gaining for you. So I don't want to just sweep that under the rug or anything, but what we're talking about is an average value increase of about 5% yearly. Does it go up more sometimes and down? Yes, of course. But if we looked at the last 12 years, it's averaging in this area about 5%. All right, so here's the final tick. What's the last scenario now? So we'll just kind of box this out here, and we're going to go into the last scenario. So the last scenario is buy 2 years from now. So if you buy 2 years from now, we're going to assume that the rate is 1% lower. So we're going to go with a 5.5% rate. And we also know that our today $400,000 home is now worth $440,000. So now we're buying, if we're comparing apples to apples, some people might say, well, I would buy a cheaper home. Well, if you would buy a cheaper home, then you could buy a cheaper home here, and all the numbers would change. But if we're comparing apples to apples, You're now buying a $440,000 home. That is just the cold, hard, honest truth. People don't realize that. It's hard to like outsave the market. You got to just jump in and start paddling. Start out with whatever house you can get, $200,000 house, $300,000 house, 400, whatever it is that you can start with, just get in and start paddling. So we've already run all the numbers for this. Thank God my screen didn't go into screensaver mode or anything like that. With principal interest, 5.5% interest rate, taxes, insurance. We're not having an HOA in here. That would just complicate things. Your payment is $3,018.05. Now, it's crazy, but you may notice, I mean, these things are the same payment, okay? The difference is, here's the huge difference. Go with purple here. The difference is you're going to have this payment for 2 years, and then you're going to refinance, and you're going to change it to a payment of $2,700. This payment is going to stay with you then for the life of the loan, okay? With this payment now, you're stuck with this payment now for 30 years. Now, if interest rates drop, you could refinance any of these, and that would be the same for any of it. But what I'm getting at is you're now stuck with this payment. You waited 2 years. The only equity you're going to have in the home, to be fair, you will have $20,000 because you're going to put $20,000 down. You're actually, because it's a more expensive home, you're probably going to end up putting $22,000 or $24,000 down. But you're going to have a little bit of equity, but you're going to have this payment for 30 years. So the only thing you're doing by locking in and buying later is you're locking in that home's higher price. And just keep in mind, the market is not standing still. You may be standing still, you may be motionless and not doing anything, but the market is moving on without you. If you own a house, you know what I'm talking about. You've seen equity growth like go crazy lately. So just don't ignore that factor. There's a lot of things to consider. If you want us to run a scenario like this for you at a certain price point with a certain down payment, happy to do it. Just reach out to us. You can reach out to us at the Pomfrey team. We're very easy to find. My phone number is 443-226-0082. My favorite mode of communication is just talking with you. Let's talk about putting you into a home now as opposed to later. Thanks.